Hello. I don't know why I'm so fucking awkward. Sorry in advance if you hear banging or barking. My dogs are angry that I will not let them be in my room right now, and also, even during quarantine times, it seems that there are people working on our grass right now, so they are barking quite a bit. I'm so awkward. This is why I've never done this. I don't even know if I'm gonna do anything with this. I don't know, but I mean, I also don't usually look like this, but I thought it was important to look like my pretty much natural self going into this, in case I don't ever try to look any better. Not that I think that'll be the case, because hopefully I'll find some, yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I guess just stop beating around the bush. We're in quarantine right now, or whatever you want to call this period, because everyone's calling it something else. I was quarantined for the first 2 weeks-ish with my boyfriend of 7 years. And anyone that watches this, if I do decide to put it anywhere, more or less, if you are my friend at all, you know him, or of a relationship or whatever. So, yeah. But yeah, at some point, there was just, some things that played out and made me ask some painful questions about whether or not he had been with this person that I had raised concerns about quite a bit. We've had our ups and downs in our relationships, definitely, and both of us have had our issues. I don't ever want to, go into this, if God forbid I put it out there, like I'm this perfect angel, from a period of, 21 to 23, I was a raging, not only bitch, but alcoholic, and I just really hated myself, man. I was just a really unhappy person, and I was, okay with being an unhappy person. I wore that shit. I really thought it was, a part of my identity. I thought it was cool to be, this, chaotic, person, and I thought the alcohol made me this charming whatever, and maybe it did. I will never know. I feel like an asshole looking back at a lot of those things, but I don't know. Seems like a fair share of people were around for it, so I mean, whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm random things. But yeah, I had really denied my feelings for him for a long time, because I think I just didn't want to be happy. I didn't want to be in a relationship. I didn't think that relationships could work. All the old, cliches out there, loving yourself and whatever. I knew that he was very significant to me and very important, and adored the shit out of him, but I just couldn't make it work. I just didn't, I was young, it was there's the next best thing, and there's, whatever, and it's not what other people envision for me, and, whatever. It's just a lot of shit and noise in my head, and I didn't listen to myself and my own feelings, and, it took me going through a lot of different things, obviously, to lead me to where I was now, in the last couple of years, and, just personally have been really positive for me as far as growth. I stopped drinking. Almost entirely. It's very, very, very fucking rare that I drink, which I think is good for not only myself, but everyone else, because I tend to suck, especially if I have a bit too much to drink, and I know that about myself, so I, have just proactively been trying to always be, mindful of what I know I am and what my capabilities are, and I think that just comes with maturity as well. I just matured to a point where I didn't want to embarrass myself, and I wanted to be in control of myself and my fucking narrative, and yeah, a lot of with that came a lot of things, truly laying myself down when it came to my relationship, and thinking like, okay, if this is going to progress, you really have to move forward. You, like, for better or fucking worse, you have to move forward. My dogs are snorting at my door. Sorry. It's the only way it's going to work is if you really just make peace with things instead of burying them. You have to make peace with them. And for me, it was relatively simple. I'm human. I think there's always things like in the back of your mind occasionally that pop up and whatever, but just not letting them consume your relationship. And for the most part, I feel like I did a pretty good job of that, And, we have bad days, and I have bad days personally, and not every relationship, is perfect all of the time. It's just making sure that you're as healthy as possible, and that relationship is more positive than it is negative, It's just life, like, you just got to be prepared to do life with each other, and you're never going to be each other or in each other's bodies or minds or hearts or whatever. You're your own individual, so you have to accept there's some things like you're not going to understand, and some things you're not going to like, and, it's what things you're willing to deal with and what things you're not, and I think I really was in a good point. I think that's why I'm like doing something different now, or doing this weird shit, whatever it is because I want to do anything and everything I can to do something about it, or do something about how I'm feeling, and try to turn it into something for myself, So anyways, there was some cheating. I don't, there's a lot to it, of course, and I don't think that that's really, like, important to air, but it sucks on a physical level, like, as a woman, and as someone who did really, like, thrive on bettering themselves as a woman, and maturing and, like, just bettering myself and caring for my body on, like, that spiritual kind of level. It was really, I don't know why I'm pretending to talk about it in past tense, like, it's fucking painful to think about even still currently right now, and probably will be for a very long time. It just takes a toll on your body, dude. Your emotions, especially when it is such a different, intimate act. It's just degrading on a different level that just, like, brings you to your fucking knees, and for me, like, while I had my, fair share of putting myself out there, if you will, or would like to say, I haven't, that came with me maturing and changing, is that, like, I really do have a different relationship with my body and, like, my own human sexuality and expression and whatever, I really just take pride in myself. I like to protect my health. So that was really hard. That part is really hard, currently. And it's a different conversation, I think, for a lot of people. Like, hopefully people will understand that, like, when you start having these conversations in a relationship where it's not just like we're boyfriend, girlfriend, we've committed almost like a decade of our life together, and we had a lot of really deep conversations, like heart to hearts, just on like a in the car basis, driving around, having these conversations about our relationship and how we feel about each other, and like, regularly. And they're great fucking conversations. The conversations I've wanted to have my whole life, let alone have someone have those kinds of feelings for me. It's fantastic, and that's what makes all of this that much more fucking insane, and hard to manage, because it's not like I was kept at a distance or there weren't these conversations. There were some really intimate fucking conversations about, like, what the future looks like, and, like, possibilities, and, fucking real commitment, and, like, I had just, like, started moving stuff in and whatever, and, that had always been a hard thing because we've always lived far apart, and, like, whatever. So it's just a lot of really, like, unfortunate circumstances surrounding it, and the fact that we are under fucking quarantine right now, and it's, like, even going through this, like, I'm, like, having these fucking mini meltdowns of like, what if you get it and like I'm not there to take care of you? Like, who's gonna take care of you, you know? And that's sad, and it's like, it fucking sucks. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I like am notorious for coping with things with humor because it's all I've ever really been good at. So, like joking to myself, like, oh, fuck. Who gets dumped during fucking quarantine, like during a fucking pandemic. But, it's not fucking funny. It sucks. It's like I'm so much more fucking alone now than I ever have been. And, people can put whatever it is out there, and I understand, and I'll always respect other people's opinions and perspectives, or at least do my damnedest, But at the end of the day, like, I am one of those individuals, whether it's because I'm a fucking INTJ, or I'm a Capricorn, or I'm just a fucking weirdo, like, I saw my parents do it, whether or not that's been good for them either, like, it's all up for debate, but I have always been a singular person. Like, I enjoy committing myself and my energy to this one thing that I invest myself in, because I care about, 5 things, but like fucking passionately, like unabashedly, wholeheartedly, like everything. It's everything, and I don't know, maybe that isn't a good thing. I don't know, but it's always been who I am. And frankly, I wasn't unhappy that way. I didn't feel unfulfilled. It was not an issue that I had. And, it's only when I'm in these moments and whatever now where I become aware of the fact that I'm really fucking alone. And I think a lot of people go through that. I think it's just, we are under a fucking quarantine right now. So it's like, there's no hope in sight of me, like, hanging out with my gal pals, that don't even really exist yet. So that's really, it's just rough. So it is kind of a funny joke, like, oh, I got dumped during a fucking pandemic, during quarantine, and I want to acknowledge that, like, even putting any of this out there, or like talking about any of it, like, I've been a complete asshole, like, I've done some really hurtful shit and said some really hurtful shit, like, when everything was kind of unfolding. And I feel bad, and then there's moments that, like, I don't feel bad. I wish I had, driven the point home harder, but I think that's what everything is gonna be, is, like, just those moments of, like, back and forth, and it's hard, because we do, like, people reached out, people have been really fucking great, but at the same time, it's like, I have these really unrealistic expectations, I think, because I just don't believe that I don't know, like, maybe I'm just an asshole, it's very possible. People care momentarily, and that's fine. Like, if you're not invested in me and whatever, why would you, text me every day? Like, that was the whole point of my relationship, is it's something you're invested in, you care, But it sucks. It really does suck. It's like a heavy thing, and nothing feels normal right now, for any of us, and anybody, and like, I was telling my mom, because I was like, hey, I like really need some help, like, I need to be able to get through this. I'm having these shitty ideations, which I'm ashamed of, because there's people that are fighting for their lives right now, and I feel like a complete fucking asshole that, like, ooh, I'm going through a breakup and my world's ending, and it's like, dude, maybe I am an asshole for that, but, like, at least I'm being fucking honest, like, it sucks, and I would give anything to be the person that just, like, was like, alright, let me go pop my pussy on the internet and, like, be a tough cookie, but this is me being a tough cookie, is like trying to do something and deal with the fact and compartmentalize right now the fact that, like, this shitty social media age, like, I do still have to see everything, and, like, I can't expect him to stop living his life and whatever either. It just sucks that it just never feels like you're the one that, I don't know, you're the one that gets any fucking peace and leeway, like, then I'm gonna feel that way. Like, everyone feels like they're having it rougher than the other person, I'm sure, but it does suck. It is hard. It's like, I don't want to see your face, but I want to know you're alive, and that's hard. And everybody has opinions, everybody's like, keep yourself busy, it makes me want to tear my face off. It's like, I don't want to move half of the time. I just don't. And whether that's dramatic or not, like, is what it fucking is, like, I just don't. Like, if there's one thing I'm good at, it's being pretty fucking brutally honest, and I don't know, and it's hard because it's like, I am such a fucking creature of, sentimental bullshit, which is so counterproductive, like, I know, but it's hard for me because that's just who I am, whether it's because I'm a fucking romantic or I like art or I like literature or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I'm just a fucking, glutton for punishment when it comes to that, because insignificant things are so fucking significant to me, and it's hard to change the record, it just is. And yeah, I don't know, and it's hard because it's like, I'm so angry and I'm so hurt and I'm so disappointed, and the one thing that I can't truly wrap my head around currently is how some fucking way I still want more than anything him to feel nothing but loved by me, like how? And it sucks because I want to be fucking angry and I want you to like have nothing of me, and like not only did you get to hurt me, but you got to leave, and just embarrass me, and like somehow, like, it's okay, and I don't know, like, I really am not doing this and whatever to have a pity party, and I hope, again, if I decide to fucking have balls and upload this and whatever, people don't take it that way, because this in its own right is kind of embarrassing, but I just gotta do something and like make it count, and I think I've always thought about it, when I've like gone through tough shit or I've whatever felt negatively at all, like, have a conversation, even if it's just with myself, because otherwise it just lives in my head, and yeah, I don't know, it sucks, especially when you're very much in love with your best friend. Like, it's very hard to all of a sudden, when I've had that fucking like trauma or whatever you want to call it my whole life, which is such a like what was me thing to say, but like I've never felt like someone got it or respected me enough to want to get it, and then like all of a sudden to have that kind of torn away from you really sucks, because then you just think about all the like weird shit too, like I'm like fucking 28 and I'm like small and baby faced and like, and I am fucking weird, I'm not like a damaged piece of shit like I was when I was younger. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but think about ever dating or like someone to approach me again or whatever, like you worry about a lot of things. Like, I'm like, will you see that? Like, is this person just gonna see that? And like, secondly, like, why would I ever want to fucking like reconcile any kind of emotions towards another person at this point? Like, why? For what purpose? Like, fuck, And it's just like, small talk and like, ugh, like, I don't know. And that's like why I was happy, because I was like just being a human, like being me with someone who was being them, until they realized that they were not being them, I don't know. It's all wacky and tacky, yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I just killed 20 minutes of a fucking video talking about nothing. I don't know. Thank you to anyone who did reach out at all. I know I sound like an ungrateful asshole for being like, you're not doing enough, but like it matters, you know? I'm just like a sad sack of shit currently, so please know that I am grateful and it matters. Because nobody owes me shit, you know? Not even him. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it for now. At least I started talking, I guess, you know. It's been something.